What's up, everybody? Welcome to BioS3 Raw TV. Today we're going to answer a question from Tim. And Tim actually wants to know if I make a video about food addiction or making a better relationship with food, because he's seen how I am with food, and basically I don't get enjoyment from food. Like, food is not like, holy shit, I can't wait to eat it. It's not like that with me. He said that he thinks he has an addictive personality, and he wants to know that what I would do to address it for breaking away from having the poor relationships with food. Now, first of all, I've never been one, even when I was younger, to be all about food. I'm just not. It's not been me. Like, I've never ever been the one that's like, if I went to a friend's house and they had candy, their parents were like, hey, Jerry, do you want a Hershey's bar? I'm like, nah, no thanks. Like, that's just me. Like, I wasn't really big into candy. I wasn't really big into, like, overeating. Like, if I couldn't have, my favorite cereal in the morning, I didn't fucking care. And in adulthood, it was the same thing. Like, I actually don't like to eat. So if I eat, I sometimes have to force myself to eat because I don't like to. Like, I don't have the want. And I was like that as a kid too. Like, my mom would call me in from playing outside and be like, sit down and eat. And I would sit down and she'd be like, you're not going back outside until you eat. Because I didn't want to eat. Like, I just wanted to play. I was so distracted. And I think my ADD actually helps a lot with that, as far as you have less appetite personally that I've noticed. And your mind is already preoccupied with a million things. So food technically doesn't grab a hold of you. Now, opiates did, right? Drugs did. So for me, I think that my brain responds to that opiate high like some people's brains respond to food. So therefore, I don't get that same kind of feeling. And there are people that probably are addicted to food that can take painkillers and never get addicted to that, right? Now, that being said, I did eat the majority of my meals for, 20-something years, maybe even go 30-something years. There was a lot of junk in my life. Fast food specifically, because it's fast and it's cheap. And McDonald's, Wendy's, pizza places, not so much Chinese food, but that was like the mainstay with me, like frozen pizzas, pizza from the pizza place, McDonald's, like shit that I could make quick is pretty much how I lived. And what I didn't know at the time was it actually made me feel like shit. I had absolutely fucking no idea, but over time, I noticed that I was eating less and less of it because I didn't feel good eating it, right? So like, if have a poor relationship with food, like if you're eating it to get an effect in your brain, but you feel like absolute shit, like if you're using it to get high on, using it like a drug, using it as comfort, but you actually physically feel like shit, well, why the fuck are you doing it then? But the problem is not many people know that they're feeling like shit. So what was really kind of groundbreaking for me as to where I stopped eating a lot of junk and started eating more natural, wholesome foods was in 2009, I went through a bad breakup with my ex-girlfriend, Angelica. And I jumped into a prep right before we broke up. I prepped for Pittsburgh. I competed at Pittsburgh. And I was single. So I was like, you know what? Like, I don't want to be fat and single. You know what I mean? I want to be in shape. I want to be attractive to fucking chicks. Like, why would I want to get fat? So I continued on my diet, right? So now 2-3 months goes by. I do another show and I meet my soon-to-be girlfriend, Carrie, at a show, right? So now, like, I'm staying lean. I can do photo shoots every week if I want because I'm lean. And I just ate like that. Now, Carrie moves from Montana to Maryland to live with me. And we're still eating clean and stuff like that. But over time, it was like, well, I'm busy, and I would grab like a, and I honestly think because it was like, well, I have a girlfriend now, so I don't really have to do this anymore, right? So I don't really have to stay super lean anymore because she doesn't care if I'm super lean. She's a competitor. She knows about bulking, like all that shit. So basically, my mind shifted gears, and I would start eating fast food again, and I would blow up to 250, 260. And I noticed the next time from that point that I got bigger again and started eating junk, I started feeling like shit. And I didn't understand why. I was like, why do I feel ill all the time? I don't feel good. I don't have energy. I don't feel healthy, right? Well, come time for a contest diet, I would go on the contest diet. Eventually, you wind up feeling shit on the contest diet because you're depleted. But for a little while, I started feeling good. And I noticed that when Carrie was on her diet, she was feeling better. So I'm like, wait a minute. So we eat better, we feel better, right? Off season comes, the show was over, I start eating like crap again. I felt like shit again. And I was starting to put it together in my head. So I was eating less and less junk, but still eating it to a certain degree. Now, 2014 comes, I tear my rotator cuff and my bicep tendon, and I have to stop training. Like, totally stop training upper body. So I knew I was going to shrink up, and I didn't want to stay fat or gain fat. So I said, you know what, I'm going to diet down as I'm injured. So when I'm done healing, I can just get big again. And when I get big again, I'll actually just be lean. I won't have to, like, get bigger than diet the fat off, et cetera, et cetera. So I started eating clean again. And I really did go through, like, a detox program where I was basically, like, eating like whole wheat pastas, and like I was doing everything. I did Dave Palumbo's cleanse, which is like a 30-day cleanse or 28-day cleanse or whatever it was. By the time I was done with that, I felt fantastic. I felt amazing. And I would eat like a piece of pizza or something, and I would feel like shit. and I would not eat it and I would feel good. And I was like, this is why I felt like shit. It was the food. And then I started looking into it, the chemicals, the way it digests. I mean, I was like, holy shit. It was like an epiphany I had all of a sudden out of the blue. So now what happened was, that was 2014. I went on vacation in Mexico, and for the first time ever in Mexico, I was lean. And I didn't have to worry about taking my shirt off. And I could literally be the whole time with my shirt off and I didn't care. But I had energy. I didn't have to sleep as much. I felt good. Even in Mexico, I was eating fruit. I was eating fresh fish. I was eating chicken. I was eating salads. I was eating rice. I was eating the same things on vacation that I normally ate because it made me feel good, right? And that's where it's been ever since. You know, here we are in 2018. It's been about 4 years since that happened. And I'm still eating like this. And people are, you know, Jerry's so disciplined. It's not about being disciplined. I mean, fuck, it doesn't take discipline to feel good, right? I mean, you do shots at the bar. Why? To feel good, right? You jump in the pool when you're too hot to cool off to feel good. Everything is to feel good. You don't feel good when you're sick. You lay down and go to sleep. Why? So you feel better. Everything is to feel good. If you eat a certain way to feel good, why the fuck would you not want to eat like that? But the problem is, to get that feeling and understand what that feels like, you got to get off the junk first. You have to get off the junk, detox your body. And I do say detox your body because your body does go through a detox process. It may not be like a turn from a fucking chemical swamp into fucking heaven, but it's going to go through a point where it is completely cleaned out and functioning very efficiently. And at the same time, you're not having blood sugar crashes. You're not having these toxic effects of the chemicals of the food that you're putting in your body. You're not overfeeding your body where you're taxing your systems to try to work harder. A 260-pound Jerry eating fucking 8,000 calories a day, and a 200-pound Jerry eating whatever the fuck I eat today are two different things. I can go do whatever right away. I don't have to wait because I'm not fucking tired. I'm not trying to digest all that food. So you see, what it really boils down to is, what do you want? You know, if you have these questions or you have this idea that you think that you have a poor relationship with food, you need to say, why do I have this poor relationship with food? And then if you really, truly want to break it, like you truly want to say, I don't want to fucking be like this anymore. Like I want to break it. You have to literally just break it. You have to say, this is what I'm doing and this is who I am and this is what I want. When I go down to the supermarket aisles now, I don't go down the fucking cookie aisle. I don't go down the fucking cake aisle. I don't even go down the aisles. For what? I don't eat that shit. Why the fuck would I go down the aisles? I don't need to browse or check it out or maybe get a little. No, I don't give a fuck. I go there and get whatever the fuck I need, vegetables, fruit, lean meats, whatever. Water. Water's a big thing. You gotta do your water. And then I fucking leave the grocery store and give a fuck. But it's taking time and it happens slowly. You can't just dive right into it. You have to slowly remove certain things from your diet, slowly remove things. Diet Coke was the last thing that I removed from my diet. And I didn't realize that it was causing so much inflammation in a trigger in my brain that I didn't want to give it up. I was almost addicted to Diet Coke. And once I got rid of it, I didn't give a fuck anymore. Now, even if I did have a Diet Coke, I don't give a fuck about not having it again because I understand how much better I feel when I don't have it. So I think until you've been to that point where you've actually felt great, like literally felt great, not a contest diet, right? Not dieting down so much that you're depleted, but you eat certain foods where you feel so fucking good, and then you eat the other foods and you feel like shit. Guess what? In your brain, it goes, dude, I don't like that other shit. I like that shit. Like, you may like that taste, but I like the way I feel with that. And then you start making those decisions. But you have to make conscious decisions. You have to take conscious steps. And it takes time. There is no one, like, just do this and you're good to go. Anybody that says that shit is full of shit. It takes time. You start cleaning up your diet. You start really thinking about why. Like, it's a process that took me, I don't know, 30-something years to figure out. So hopefully you guys can apply this to what you're, going through. And Tim, like, if you're trying to, completely make a lifestyle change, it has to be a lifestyle change. Start slowly and kind of start implementing things like maybe cookies are gone. Maybe chips are gone next. Maybe pizza's gone next. Maybe, once you get rid of everything, you're going to notice, wow, I feel really good. Then go ahead and have like a giant cheat day, not a cheat meal, a cheat day. And then see how you feel that day, the next day, and the day after. You basically have a food hangover and you're all fucked up. You're going to go, why did I do that to myself? It's like when you binge drink and the next day you're never going to drink again, then you binge drink again, right? Well, me, eventually I stopped binge drinking. Like, why am I going to make myself fucked up like that? I'll just go moderate, I'll have a good time, and that'll be the fucking end of it. It's the same thing with this. Until you get cleaned up and feel what it really feels like to be alert, energetic, and healthy, you're never going to know what it feels like to be shitty, because all you know is shitty, right? So that's where you begin. BioStraining@gmail.com. Leave comments down below, but don't fight. www.biostraining.com is the blog. And start slow and it'll happen. Bicep, and we are out.